Hey guys, welcome back to Flipmoto ADV. Tag along with me and Ozarks Unpaved as we ride down through the Ozarks from Eureka Springs to Oark Cafe. Check out this new intro on your way. The Eureka to Oark route travels 74 miles of the best of the Ozarks. It begins in the hipster metropolis of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and ends at the world-famous Oark General store and cafe, where you can get one of the best and most consistent cheeseburgers you've ever had in your life. The route is mostly gravel and not very technical, on a dry day that is. When you reach the Mulberry water crossing, you're going to go up an ascent. There's going to be a few switchbacks, and it gets a little loose in some spots. But that's how you earn your cheeseburger.
Kind of loose.
Right out of the gate, you enter this loose, crunchy downhill. They make you wonder what in the hell you're getting yourself into. But don't worry, it gets better. Then worse. Better again. And worse again. It finally gets better again. As you'll see through this video, road surface changes dramatically from one minute to the next. We had a considerable rain through the Ozarks, but in the springtime they're usually in the form of small build-up thunderstorms that will hit one spot and leave another spot perfectly dry. That's why in some places we're kicking up dust and in other places we're trudging through the mud. Either way, the variety leads to a fantastic riding experience, and these vistas along these farmsteads through the hills here really make for a great day ride.
Oh, shit.
It's difficult to tell, but the ascent here is pretty steep. The road surface speaks for itself. Picking a good line and keeping up a momentum is key.
Now you're all cross ready. Oh. No? Let me pull your front wheel over. You got it.
Agriculture in the Ozarks developed the way most human plans do when they collide with stubborn geography. The region stretching across southern Missouri and northern Arkansas is full of steep ridges, thin soils, and enough rock to make a farmer question his life choices. Large row crop farms never took hold the way they did in the flat Midwest. Instead, agriculture adapted. Small cattle ranches spread across the hills using the patchy pasture land between timber stands. Cow-calf operations became the backbone of rural life, income with herds grazing on fescue-covered slopes and valley bottoms where the soil is a little deeper and the grass actually agrees to grow. Over the last several decades, poultry production has become the dominant agricultural industry in much of the Ozarks. Massive chicken houses dot the hillsides, particularly in northwest Arkansas and southwest Missouri, supplying processing plants run by companies like Tyson Foods. These long metal barns can stretch hundreds of feet and operate year-round, raising tens of thousands of birds at a time, under contract systems that tie local farmers to large processors. The rise of poultry shifted the rural landscape, turning quiet hollows into hubs of agricultural production and bringing a steady, if tightly controlled income stream to many families who might otherwise struggle to make a living off the rocky ground.
Hey, 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 hey.
Historically, much of the farmland in the Ozarks was carved out of forests through aggressive clear-cutting. Early settlers and later logging operations removed vast stands of oak and shortleaf pine, opening hillsides for pasture and small fields. Even today, patches of fresh clearing appear where timber companies or landowners remove hardwood stands to expand grazing ground for poultry infrastructure. The result is a patchwork landscape that defines the Ozarks: wooded ridges, open pasture, scattered barns, and the occasional line of chicken houses stretching across a hillside like silver ribs in the sun. Its agriculture is shaped not by ideal conditions, but by persistence, adaptation, and people stubborn enough to work land that rarely makes anything easy. About the southern third of the route, the Boston Mountains make things a little more topographically interesting. They form the highest, roughest sections of the Ozarks, stretching across northwestern Arkansas and a sliver of eastern Oklahoma. They aren't mountains in the dramatic Rocky sense. Geologists call them deeply dissected plateaux, which is an academic language for a big flat table that erosion spent millions of years angrily carving into knives. The ridges are mostly sandstone and shale laid down about 300 million years ago during the Pennsylvanian period, when this whole region was part of a shallow sea. Over time, the land lifted and rivers started cutting it to pieces. That's why the Boston Mountains are full of steep hollows, narrow ridges, and sudden cliffs. The highest point in the Ozarks, Turner Ward Knob, sits here at just over 2,560 feet. Not exactly Everest, but tall enough to make the roads twist like a drunken snake. Historically, the area stayed isolated for a long time because those same steep ridges made travel miserable. During the American Civil War, guerrilla fighters and bushwhackers used the mountains as hiding places, and the region gained a reputation for lawlessness that stuck around well into the late 1800s. Small homesteads dotted the hollows, and some families lived so remotely that outsiders barely knew they were there. Even today, the forests in places like Ozark National Forest can feel quite primitive and oddly quiet. Fun fact, the Boston Mountains are one of the most biologically diverse areas in the central United States, packed with caves, springs, and hardwood forests. Slightly less fun fact, those caves and deep woods have also produced decades of local legends about lost mines, moonshiners, and people who simply wandered into the hills and never came back. Nothing supernatural required. A maze of steep hollows, thick timber, and sudden weather changes can make a person disappear surprisingly fast, which explains why locals tend to say the same thing about the Boston Mountains. They're beautiful, but they don't care if you make it home or not. You're going to drop down into a low area where you'll see the Mulberry River babbling along the roadside. This is how you know you're getting close to the steep and loose ascent that we talked about in the first part of the video. You're going to cross the low water bridge up here ahead, and that's when you'll begin. Might be a good time to take a break here, take a drink of water, get your mind right, get your breath right, get your heart right. This would actually even be a good spot to pull over, put your kickstand down, take a little swim on a hot day. Don't mind this in-helmet commentary. What happens on the cardo stays on the cardo.
Look at this tractor. Look at it just tractor up the hill. How about that? Didn't even slip a tire. Very good. I'll go over there.
The lookout here at the top of the Mulberry ascent is pretty rewarding, especially in the fall when the leaves are changing. When the road changes color, you know you're almost there. You can really get up on your pegs, open that visor, feel the wind in your face. This is fast-flowing curves accompanied by tall pines, and it's truly a flow state experience. Thanks for following along on this Eureka to Oark gravel route. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or some feedback, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. Never forget, always up, always forward.